Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Connor. And today is New Year's Eve. Happy New Year! And that also means that I need to do my December wrap-up. These are all the books that I read in December. So, prepare yourselves and buckle up. So, I'm going to try to go as quickly as I can through them, but I didn't do any reviews for this month, so who knows how long it'll be. The first book that I read this month, I read it on December 1st because I had to write a paper on it due on December 4th. And that was A Visit from the Goon Squad by Jennifer Egan. And I absolutely loved this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. And it is a adult literary fiction novel. And it's about a group of ordinary people and just following them throughout their lives. And it's told in the perspectives of different people for every chapter, and time is all mixed up in this book as well, so you start off here and then you go backwards and then you go forwards and then you just, you go all over. But you don't really get confused. It's just so good. The writing is fantastic. The characters are well rounded and thought out, so I just really love this book, and if you guys haven't heard of it or you're interested in that kind of thing, you should definitely check it out. Finally get to put the books back on my shelf. The next book that I read in December was The Last of the Sky Pirates by Paul Stewart and Chris Riddell. This is the 5th in the Edge Chronicles series, and there's 10 books. In this book you're introduced to a new main character, and he will be the main character for books 5, 6, and 7. And, he's really, really cool and he's really fun. If you guys haven't checked out the Edge Chronicles, I thoroughly enjoyed them. I gave this a book a 4 out of 5 stars. Then I went for some adult fiction, and I read The Wheel of the Infinite by Martha Wells. This is a standalone novel, which is really exciting because I read so many series. It is about an older woman who is a priestess, and she is traveling around with this group of puppet show people. And she is the priestess for a very powerful deity, and she is also very powerful, and she is going around, she has to save the world pretty much. And it's really good. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't my favorite, but I recently picked up The Cloud Roads, which is also by her, and I'm excited to see how that series is. Then I decided that it was about time that I continue on with the Chronicles of Narnia. Last month I read the first book in this series, which is The Magician's Nephew. I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and I enjoyed it. It was very, very similar to the movie that was made, the most current one. I can't remember the older one that was made with the really fake lion. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars, maybe 3 out of 3.5. Just because I'm not sure, I don't really like the writing that much. It's very apparent that you're reading, and when I read, I just want to get lost in the story. I don't want to be aware that I am moving my eyes across the page at all times in the book. But I did really enjoy it, and I really enjoyed reading the original story. And then I continued on and I read The Horse and His Boy, and I really did not like that one at all. I didn't like any of the characters. I thought they were all very annoying and pompous, and they spoke down to everyone else. It was just not a very enjoyable book to read, and I don't know how he got away with it. But I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars because I did finish it, and there were some redeeming qualities, although I can't think of any right now. But I just really didn't like it. It kind of put me off of this series for a while, and so I didn't want to read it anymore yet. The next book that I read is Antigoddess by Kandar Blake. This is the first in her new series, which I'm not sure what it's called. The Goddess Wars, book 1. This is about Athena and Hermes, and the gods are dying. They're all dying in their own special way, and the feather is significant. But it was a really cool take on Greek mythology, and I was really excited to get my hands on it, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It has to do with this girl named Cassandra, who in ancient Greek mythology was a princess of Troy, and was given the power to see the future, but then was cursed so that no one would believe her. So she plays a big role in this book, and I just really love mythology so much. I can't wait for the next one. The next books I read, because I love middle grade and kids books, I read the first 4 in the Spiderwick Chronicles, which is The Field Guide, which is that one, and then I read the Seeing Stone, and then Lucinda's Secret, and the Ironwood Tree. And these books were a lot of fun to read. I mean, they're so short. They're like 100 pages each. And I quite liked the movie. I didn't really like the movie, but I thought it was enjoyable, so I wanted to read the story. And these books were my brother's, so I just kind of stole them out of his room. But the first one, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it. Nothing really exciting happens. They just kind of walk around. The second book, more exciting things happen. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The plot really advances in this book a little bit more than the first one. The third one, Lucinda's Secret, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Again, for the reason that I gave the first one a 3 out of 5 stars. Nothing too exciting happens. It's just kind of a filler, I kind of felt like. And then the fourth book, The Ironwood Tree, I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. And I quite enjoyed them thus far in the series, and you know, it was really fun. It's about 3 siblings, and they find a guide that has to do with fairies and magical creatures, and the magical creatures are not happy that they have this guide, and so it causes a whole bunch of trouble for them and their family. Then I went back to the Chronicles of Narnia, and I read the Prince Caspian story. Prince Caspian, that's it, there's no the. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very similar to the movie again. Yeah, they did a really good job with the movies, staying true to the books. And, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, if you guys have seen the movie, you know exactly what the plot is of this book. And, yes, I probably won't read any more of this book anytime soon. I'm halfway through the Chronicles. I'm like 400 pages, and there's 800 in this book. So, very, very excited, but not yet. The next book that I picked up is the last in the Spiderwick Chronicles, which is The Wrath of Mulgarath. And this book, I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I can't give you anything about the plot, but it was very exciting, and it was a very good conclusion to this little series. I know that there's also a spin-off series about a pair or a few siblings in Florida, and they maybe get a guide as well. I'm not sure, but I know there's another series out that's mainly written by Tony D. Terlizzi. Also, this series is by Holly Black and Tony D. Terlizzi. I don't know how to say that name. Sorry, guys. The next book I went to was Full Dark No Stars by Stephen King. This is the second book by Stephen King that I've read, the other one being Under the Dome, which is right here somewhere, right there. I enjoyed it. I'm not a huge horror fan, and so I was happy with this book because it's a series of shorter stories. I mean, one of them is novel length, but I could take breaks so I didn't get overwhelmed with the messed up things that were going on. And it's just, you know, Stephen King, messed up, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. No, I think I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Just because I liked it, but it's just like, it wasn't as good as Under the Dome, but it was still very enjoyable, and I'll definitely keep going, reading with other Stephen King books. If you have any suggestions for other really good Stephen King books, let me know. I know I want to read the Dark Towers series, because that is on NPR's list of top 100 science fiction and fantasy novels, so woo! Then I decided to continue with the Inheritance Cycle, and I read Brisingr by Christopher Paolini. This is the third in the Inheritance Cycle series. I don't know. And I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but it was not nearly as good as the first one, and then it wasn't as good as the second one. This book was really boring, guys. Like, nothing happens for such a long time, and it's so much exposition. He just literally says everything that Aragorn and Roran do for like 300 pages. It's like, then they woke up and he relieved himself, and then he scratched his left arm because it tickled, and all it just was like, what? Why do I need to know this? Continue along with the story. Give me something exciting or something. Also, Nasuwada, is that how you say her name? I don't know. She was so frustrating, and just like, it was very frustrating. But I did like it, and I will continue along with the series. I just think it could have been a little bit better. The last 150 pages of the book were so good, and so that's what bumped it up. I was going to give it a 2.5 stars, but then I was just like, nope, 3. There are parts of this book that are really, really good, and so, yes. The next book that I read was The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is the first in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. I don't know why I was scared to start this series for so long. I thought it was going to be very dense and boring, but it really wasn't at all, and I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. If you guys don't know what this series is about, you guys may be a little bit retarded. After The Lord of the Rings, I picked up the Demigod Files by Rick Riordan. This is a companion novel thing to the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. It is supposed to be read in between the Battle of the Labyrinth and The Last Olympian, and I really, really wish I had read it in between those two instead of waiting till now, because it has some explanation to things that happen later in the series and also to things that happen in the Heroes of Olympus series. And so if you guys are interested in reading the Heroes of Olympus series, I highly suggest reading this book as well. It was a lot of fun. It was a good addition to this series. It's 3 stories, some interviews, and some profiles of characters in the book, and I just love Percy Jackson. And so I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars, just because it's not a full novel or anything, and it wasn't just like, whoa, it was good. The last book that I read this month was The Enchanter Heir by Cinda Williams-Hema. This is the 4th book in the Heir series, and I liked it. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. It was a different book than the previous 3. The previous 3 were originally a trilogy, and then she decided to extend it to 5 books. In this book, there are 2 new characters, one being Emma, who is a girl from Memphis, and the other being Jonah, who is a boy that is living in Cleveland, Ohio. And they are different than regular wear. At the very beginning of this story, Emma's grandfather passes away, and she needs to get out of there because she would be an orphan, and she doesn't want to go into the system and be in foster care. And so she flees, and there's a whole bunch of things. This book had insta-love, and it was kind of frustrating. It was very similar to how Bella and Edward were in the Twilight series, where, like, one person loves the other one, and the other one loves them back, but they can't be together, and it was just kind of like, oh my god. But I did enjoy it, and there are things that happen, but this whole book is definitely just a setup for the 5th and final book of this series. Nothing is resolved in this book. It's all just problems, and not like the very end of the book isn't even nothing. There's no catharsis for just anything in this story. So, yeah, just like nothing is solved, and I'm very excited for the last book because everything will be finished in it, and I feel like these were their own thing, like set in the same world, but they don't really have anything to do with the first 3. So that's it. I read 17 books this month, which is pretty good, but a lot of them were small, so I don't know if that really counts or not, but I'm going to count it. In the comments below, comment below on how you felt about some of the books that I read, or some of the books that you read in December. If you guys have done wrap-up videos, please link them below. I'd love to watch them and see them. Also, if you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and have a great New Year's Eve. Light a sparkler for me, guys. I don't know. Bye.